In this Introduction to Algebra video, we're going to look at simplifying expressions. So what is an expression? Numbers, symbols and operators, such as addition and multiplication, grouped together that show the value of something are known as an expression. So you can see in this image, 3x plus 5 is our expression, and we know it has a value. If we say what that value is by writing on the equals 20, we form an equation, and we can then solve that, which we'll look at in future videos. Now looking back at the expression, the 3x plus 5, the 3x and the 5 are known as terms, and we know already from our BODMAS work that the addition is an operator. Now the 5 is known as a constant term, it's a numerical value. We then have a letter in our 3x term. This letter can be any letter of the alphabet, and it's known as the variable. And if there's a number in front of that letter, it's known as a coefficient, and in this case, it's the number 3. If there's no number in front of our x, then we can assume that the coefficient would be 1. Now, to simplify means to collect like terms, and like terms can be variables, letters with or without coefficients, or constants, which are the numbers. Now, x squared and x are not like terms. Different powers are not the same like term. So in our first example, we want to simplify a plus a plus a plus a. So we want to collect all of those a's, which are our like terms, together. So we know our simplified expression is going to be in terms of a, and we have 4 of them, so our answer is going to be 4a. Now the coefficient must go in front of the variable or letter, so it must be 4a. It is not a4. That is incorrect. Now in the next example, we have to simplify b plus b minus b minus b plus b minus b minus b minus b. And the operator goes with the term after it. So you can see we've got some positive b's, which I'm going to colour in blue. So we've got b and a positive b. Then we've got a negative b, because we've got minus b and another one. And then we're going to have a positive b and 3 more negative b's. Now, in order to simplify this expression, we need to pair up one positive with one negative to make a 0 pair and cancel them out, because we know that 1 take away 1 is 0, so b minus b is 0. So we've got 3 0 pairs, which equate to 0. And we're left over with 2 negative b's, and we know that negative 1 take away 1 would be negative 2. So negative b will equal negative 2b. Now remember that coefficient negative 2 must go in front of the letter, so it has to be negative 2b. Now in this example, we've got x plus 2 plus x plus 3, and we want to simplify it. We're starting with 4 terms. 2 of those terms are x terms, and we've got 2 numerical values which are constant terms. So we can use a table to help us simplify. So if we find the 2 x terms first, we've got x, and that's a positive x because it doesn't have a negative sign in front of it. And we've also got a plus x. Remember, the operator goes with the term afterwards. So we've got a plus x that we're going to combine with that x. And we've got 2 constant terms. The first constant term is a plus 2, so that's a positive 2. So we're going to put that in the first box, and our second constant term you can see is plus 3, and we're going to write that underneath the plus 2. So now we want to combine x plus x, and that's going to give us 2x, and then we want to add together plus 2 and plus 3, and that's going to give us plus 5, giving us a simplified expression of 2x plus 5. Now in this example, we've got 10a take away 4 minus 3a plus 1, Again, we have 4 terms. This time we have 2 terms that are a terms, so our variable is a this time, and we have numerical values which are constant terms. So first of all, we're going to find the 2 a terms. So first of all, we've got 10a, and we're going to put that in the first box underneath the a term column. And then we've got a subtract 3a, so we're going to put minus 3a underneath the 10a. We've then got constant terms. Those are our numbers. So you can see we've got subtract 4, so we're going to put that underneath the constant in that column. And we've got an add 1, so we're going to put that underneath the subtract 4. So then we're going to combine our a terms together, and 10a take away 3a gives us 7a. And our constant terms simplified, negative 4 plus 1 is negative 3. So simplified, our expression's 7a minus 3. Now in this example, we've got 4c subtract 9d plus 8c subtract 11d. So we have c terms and we have 2d terms in this expression. So our c terms are 4c, and we also have an add 8c. So we're going to put that underneath the 4c, and we're going to combine them together to simplify our c terms. Our d terms, we've got subtract 9d, so we can write that in as negative 9d. And we've got a subtract 11d, so we're going to subtract 11d from our negative 9d in order to simplify our d terms. So we end up with 12c and minus 9d minus 11d is negative 20d, so simplified, our expression's 12c minus 20d. Now, if you remember at the beginning of the video, we said that x squared and x terms were not the same type. And in this example, we want to simplify minus 9x squared minus x plus 4x squared minus 2x. So we have to work out our x squared terms and our x terms. Our x squared terms are negative 9x squared. And we're then going to add 4x squared to simplify our x squared terms. So we're going to write that in underneath our negative 9x squared. Our x terms are negative x. Now remember, when there's no coefficient, we're assuming that that's negative 1x. And we've got a negative 2x. And we're going to put that in the table underneath the negative x. So negative 9x squared plus 4x squared combines to give us a negative 5x squared. And negative x minus 2x is at negative 3x. So simplified, our expression is negative 5x squared minus 3x. Now we're not always limited to just 2 variables. Sometimes we have 3. And you can see in this expression, we've got 27x squared minus 4x plus 3 minus 19x squared minus 11x minus 15. So we've got x squared terms, x terms, and constants this time. So first of all, we're going to find the x squared terms. We've got a 27x squared. And we've got a minus 19x squared. So we're going to write those into the table. 27x squared minus 19x squared. We've got 2 x terms. We've got a minus 4x and a minus 11x. So again, we're going to write those into our table, and we're going to combine them to simplify the x terms of negative 4x and negative 11x. And then we've got 2 constant terms, which we're going to underline with purple. And we've got a plus 3 and a minus 15, which we're going to put into our table to simplify our constant terms. So 27x squared minus 19x squared gives us 8x squared. Minus 4x minus 11x gives us subtract 15x, and plus 3 minus 15 gives us negative 12, so our simplified expression's 8x squared minus 15x minus 12. Now when dealing with directed terms, so when we allocate our term with a negative or a positive value, so for example negative 3 or positive 4, always rewrite with a single operation, add or subtract first. So in example 6, we've got minus 12x squared, subtract negative 16x, subtract positive 11, plus 19x squared, plus negative x, take away 7. So we have three directed terms here. We've got subtract a negative 16x, we've got take away a positive 11, and we've got add a negative x. So we're going to rewrite the expression using negative 12x squared, add 16x, because we know taking away a negative is the same as adding it on. Subtract 11, because taking away a positive is the same as subtracting it. Plus 19x squared, take away x, because adding a negative is taking it away, and then we have minus 7. So we have three different like terms in this expression. We've got two x squared terms, two x terms, and we've got two constant terms. So now we're going to identify the x squared terms. And these are minus 12x squared and plus 19x squared. So we're going to put those into our table. Minus 12x squared plus 19x squared. We've got two x terms. Remember to take the sign with the coefficient. So we've got plus 16x and minus x. So we're going to put those into our table as our x terms. And then we have two constant or numerical values, which we're going to underline in purple. We've got a minus 11 and we've got a subtract 7. So we're going to write those into our table. So minus 12x squared plus 19x squared gives us 7x squared, plus 16x take away x gives us plus 15x, and minus 11 minus 7 gives us negative 18. So our simplified expression is 7x squared plus 15x subtract 18.